Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here again to really get into the thick of some fascinating material, pull out those insights that, well, that really make you think. And today, oh boy, we're diving headfirst into something that's almost baked into how we think about getting older, this belief,
Yeah, that idea that significant muscle loss, getting frail, this sort of physical decline.
Yeah.
It's just what happens.
Yeah.
Especially, after 70.
Exactly. It's like this accepted truth, isn't it? Almost gospel in modern society.
It really is.
And let's be real, that narrative, it carries a lot of fear with it. I mean, who hasn't felt a little worried about it?
Absolutely. You hear terms like sarcopenia.
Right, that clinical term. Sounds so final, doesn't it? Age-related muscle wasting.
And then the worries cascade. Losing independence, maybe not being able to look after yourself.
Yeah, and that fear of needing nursing home care, it paints this really grim picture, almost defeatist. And many of us, well, we just accept it. But here's the kicker, the question we're digging into today. What if a lot of what we're told about our muscles getting weaker with age, what if it's based on, old science?
Or an incomplete picture, maybe.
Exactly.
Right.
And what if that narrative, maybe unintentionally, serves some kind of agenda, one that keeps you feeling, well, the material calls it learned helplessness.
Instead of feeling strong and empowered.
Right. It's a huge question.
It really is. And the sources we've looked at for this deep dive, they tackle it directly. Our mission today, really, is to take you on this journey, challenging that conventional thinking.
Okay.
Because it seems there's this revolutionary truth, almost hiding in plain sight, that your muscles, they have this incredible, almost magical ability to regenerate, to grow stronger.
Even well into your 90s.
Even well into your 90s. Regardless of what you might have been led to believe, this isn't just wishful thinking. It seems grounded in how our bodies actually work, even as the decades pile up.
That word magical,
Right.
it really lands because we're usually told the magic leaves as we get older. So what makes this ability so revolutionary, especially that late in life?
Is it like a different biological pathway kicking in?
Yeah, or is it unlocking something that was there all along, just dormant?
That's a great way to put it, dormant. And to make this really concrete, we need to talk about Frank. He's 84.
Okay.
His story really grounds this whole discussion. It started pretty typically, actually, routine hip surgery. But then the doctor gives him this grim prognosis, tells him, basically, you'll never lift anything heavier than a coffee cup again.
Wow. Just imagine hearing that. 84 years old, lived a whole life, probably worked hard.
He worked in construction for 40 years, a physically demanding life.
And then you're told, essentially, your days of doing anything physically meaningful are over after routine surgery.
It's devastating, it's disempowering, and it's exactly the kind of narrative we're talking about, the expectation of decline.
But Frank, he didn't buy it.
Not for a second. He just refused to accept that fate. And that refusal, that stubbornness maybe, led him to find this method.
Okay.
A method so simple, it's almost unbelievable, but so effective. It completely reversed 2 decades of muscle wasting.
2 decades. And how long?
Just 6 months.
Get out of here. 6 months.
6 months. Turned him from this patient, told he'd only lift coffee cups, into a man who could outlift guys half his age.
That's incredible. It really speaks to that hidden potential, doesn't it? Even at 84.
A massive contrast to what the doctor predicted.
So, okay, setting expectations for this deep dive. We need to be clear. We're not about to recommend, pricey gym memberships or complicated supplements.
No, definitely not. Or those crazy workout routines that take up hours you don't have.
Right. It's actually the opposite. This deep dive uncovers this surprising shift in understanding muscle activation. It leverages your body's own built-in abilities.
Innate capabilities.
Yeah.
And the secret to strength, as we'll explore, it seems it's been hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
In places you encounter every day.
So not in some fancy fitness gadget.
Not at all. And what's really insightful is exploring why so much traditional exercise advice maybe misses the mark for older adults.
Yeah, why doesn't it always work?
And why Frank's discovery was such a game changer. He found an approach that could totally change your relationship with your body's potential. It respects the unique physiology, the needs of seniors.
It's about working with the body, not just pushing it.
Exactly. Working with its natural ability to regenerate, not forcing it in ways that might be, counterproductive or even risky, tapping into the body's own intelligence.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start by really tackling this myth of inevitable decline. It's a powerful phrase from the material. It suggests that maybe what we think is aging isn't purely biological aging.
Right. That some of it is Conditioned, learned.
Yeah. You know, that conventional wisdom we all grew up with, after 30, you lose, 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade?
Something like that. And then after 70, bam, it supposedly accelerates dramatically, like gravity suddenly gets stronger just for your muscles.
It's presented that way, isn't it, as this unavoidable slide?
And critically, it's presented as this unchangeable natural progression, leading straight to sarcopenia.
That word again.
Increased frailty, higher risk of falls, losing independence.
Yeah.
It's all presented as one inevitable package deal.
Right.
But the material we've looked at really pushes back hard on this. It argues this narrative isn't just, a neutral scientific observation.
Okay, what else is it then?
It suggests it underpins and is maybe even reinforced by a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Whoa, okay. That's a big claim. What industry are we talking about?
It points towards elements of the medical establishment, big pharma, parts of the fitness industry, basically a network that perhaps sometimes unintentionally profits from this perception of decline in seniors.
A multi-billion-dollar industry profiting from the idea that we inevitably get weaker. Can you give some examples? How does that actually play out?
Well, think about it. The proliferation of senior-specific nutritional supplements, often quite expensive, right? All promising to fend off decline.
Yeah, you see those ads everywhere.
Or the market for specialized mobility aids. Now, obviously, these are incredibly helpful for many people, essential even.
Of course.
But the marketing around them, the sheer volume, can sometimes subtly reinforce the idea that weakness is a fixed state, and the only solution is external support rather than rebuilding internal strength.
I see. So it shifts the focus away from the body's own ability.
Potentially, yes. And then think about healthcare interactions. How often is the focus truly on robust strength rebuilding for someone over 70 versus just managing decline or preventing falls through, say, grab bars and walkers?
It's more about risk avoidance than capability building sometimes.
That's what the source suggests. It argues the narrative itself. The story told about aging bodies often disempowers people. It makes them look for external fixes instead of tapping into their own capacity.
And Frank's doctor, telling him he'd only lift a coffee cup.
That's a perfect, chilling example. It's like handing someone a script for their limitations after routine surgery. This is your future now, and it's delivered as medical fact.
Which leads us right into this really radical idea from the material. Learned helplessness.
Yeah, it's a total reframe.
It suggests our muscles haven't actually lost their ability to be strong. They've just forgotten how.
Exactly. Forgotten. Because modern life, well, it doesn't ask them to remember. It systematically removed the challenges, the opportunities for them to work, to stay strong.
So it's less about biology running out of steam and more about the environment we live in.
That's the argument. It's a really powerful distinction. Think about, say, your great-grandparents.
Okay.
Chances are they were doing physically demanding stuff well into their 70s, maybe 80s, lifting things, climbing stairs. Not because they went to a gym.
No, it was just life.
It was just life. Their daily routine demanded physical effort. Their environment constantly signaled their bodies, stay strong, adapt. You need this strength.
Unlike now, where everything's designed for convenience, we barely have to lift a finger sometimes.
Precisely. That convenience, ironically, might be robbing our muscles of the very stimulus they need to stay vital.
So, if we connect the dots here, strength isn't just about age. It's about demand. Consistent physical demands, the stimulus from your environment, your daily life.
Your body adapts to what you ask of it, if you ask very little.
It dials things back, not because it has to biologically, but because it's efficient. It's not being asked to maintain that strength.
Which leads to a pretty uncomfortable question about the advice we often get, doesn't it?
Yeah. The material says we've collectively bought into the dangerous lie that aging means slowing down.
Taking it easy, avoiding strain, protecting ourselves.
But ironically, that very protection, that avoidance, might be causing the muscle wasting, the bone loss, the decline we blame on aging itself.
It's a potential self-fulfilling prophecy.
How so?
Well, the medical establishment, often with good intentions, aiming to prevent falls or injuries.
Right. They don't want people getting hurt.
Of course not. But they often end up discouraging seniors from challenging their muscles.
Yeah.
They warn about risks, maybe recommend only light walking or gentle stretching.
Yeah. Instead of things that actually build significant strength.
Exactly. And this, the source argues, creates this pervasive culture of fear around physical effort for older adults. It convinces millions they're fragile, vulnerable.
When the reality might be quite different.
Potentially very different. Capable of incredible strength and resilience, if given the right stimulus.
So the fear leads to avoidance,
Avoidance leads to actual muscle loss.
which then seems to confirm the initial fear. C, I am getting weaker because I'm old.
When in reality, according to this perspective, they're getting weaker because their muscles aren't getting the signal they need to stay strong. It's a cycle Frank managed to break.
Wow. So for you listening, just think about that for a second. How might this cultural story, or even advice you've received from well-meaning people, be shaping how you see your own body, your own capabilities?
What if you're capable of much more just by sending your body the right signals?
Let's move into Frank's breakthrough then, because this is where it gets really, really interesting. The shocking secret he supposedly found is that muscles, even after 70, are actually more responsive to the right kind of stimulation than younger muscles.
Hold on. More responsive, not less.
That's what the material claims. It completely flips the script.
Okay, that needs some unpacking.
Yeah.
Because everything we hear is the opposite.
Right. And it's crucial to clarify, this isn't about suddenly trying to lift like a 20-year-old bodybuilder. It's not about hours in the gym, heavy weights, high impact.
So what is it about then? What's the right kind of stimulation?
It's about a very specific type of muscle activation, a signal the body understands really well, even in later life. Scientifically, it triggers something called myofibrillar protein synthesis.
Okay, sounds technical. Break that down.
Think of myofibrils as the tiny engines inside your muscle cells. They're the bits that actually contract and create force. Protein synthesis is just the process of building and repairing proteins. So myofibrillar protein synthesis is literally your body building new muscle engines, new contractile tissue.
Like an internal construction crew for your muscles.
Exactly. And for years, the thought was this crew slows way down, gets lazy as we age. But this research Frank tapped into suggests that with the right signal, that crew can be just as busy, maybe even more efficient in older muscles. Rebuilding, repairing, strengthening from the inside out.
More efficient? How could that be?
The material doesn't fully elaborate on the why more, but emphasizes the responsiveness to specific stimuli like eccentric and isometric work is incredibly high, possibly because those pathways are less worn out by other types of activity, or perhaps hormonal factors play a different role. The key takeaway is the high potential for response is there.
Okay, so the potential is huge. And the impact.
The impact is incredible. This process, this rebuilding, can apparently be activated by movements so simple you can do them while watching television.
Seriously, while watching TV.
That's the claim. Yet they're supposedly so effective that they can literally reverse decades of muscle loss in a matter of weeks.
Weeks, not months or years.
Weeks to start seeing significant functional changes, leading to major reversals over months, like Frank's 6-month transformation. It just offers so much hope, right? A totally different view of aging muscle. Far more dynamic, far more adaptable than we thought.
It really does. And Frank also figured out that strength isn't just about muscle size, how bulky you look.
Right. It's more fundamental than that.
It's about neural activation, how well your brain talks to your muscles. It's about motor unit recruitment, how many muscle fibers your brain can switch on at once. And it's about this thing called muscle memory.
Okay, muscle memory. We hear that phrase a lot. What does it mean in this context? It's not like remembering facts, right?
No, not cognitive memory. It's your nervous system's efficiency. How good is that connection, that pathway between your brain command center and the muscle fibers themselves? Can the brain send a clear, strong signal telling the muscle exactly when and how to contract with maximum force?
So it's the quality of the signal, the communication line.
Precisely. It's the efficiency of that brain-muscle hookup.
That makes sense. Like if you haven't done something physical in ages, the pathways get rusty, overgrow.
That's the perfect analogy from the material. If you've been sedentary for years, those vital neural pathways don't vanish. They just become dormant, like unused roads overgrown with weeds.
But the road is still there underneath.
Exactly. The infrastructure is intact. It just needs clearing. It needs traffic. And that's the incredibly optimistic part. Those pathways are still there, waiting to be reactivated with the right approach.
Wake them up.
Wake them up. And once you do, once you start sending those clear signals again, the results can be absolutely astounding.
And that explains why these simple, focused movements can work so well for seniors.
Yes. They're not just slowly building muscle fiber. They're actively retraining and strengthening that crucial neurological communication, making the muscles remember how to be strong and contract powerfully. It's like rebooting the system.
A systemic recalibration. I like that. Okay, so Frank's big shift was moving away from thinking about formal exercise.
which probably felt overwhelming or impossible after his surgery and the doctor's warning.
Right. And shifting instead towards intentional movement, weaving specific techniques into his everyday life. These became his pillars. The material outlines 4, but you mentioned an important one too.
Yeah, let's call them the 5 pillars. They're the practical application of these ideas.
Okay, pillar 1, eccentric loading, also called negative emphasis.
Right. This is all about the lowering or lengthening phase of a movement, resisting gravity as a muscle gets longer.
Not just letting things drop.
Exactly. And this is apparently revolutionary for seniors. Why? Because eccentric contractions, the lowering part, they pack a real punch.
How so?
Well, first, they actually require less energy to perform than the lifting concentric phase.
Yeah.
They cause less fatigue.
That's tiring. Okay.
But here's the kicker. They generate more force through the muscle and seem to stimulate more muscle growth than the lifting part alone.
More bang for your buck with less effort and strain.
Pretty much.
So that example of sitting down slowly, controlling the descent into the chair for, say, 3 to 5 seconds instead of plopping down, that's eccentric loading.
That's a perfect example. But Frank applied this everywhere. Think about putting down a heavy object, a bag of groceries, a gallon of milk.
Usually just let it go near the bottom.
Right. But he started consciously slowing down that lowering phase, making his muscles work against gravity all the way down, or lowering his arm after reaching for something high up.
Instead of letting it drop, he'd guide it down slowly, feeling the tension.
Yes, using his shoulder, his bicep to control the descent. The beauty is you can apply this modification to dozens of daily activities. No extra time, no special equipment needed, turning mundane tasks into mini strength builders. It's about mindfulness meets gravity.
And it's not just about muscle growth, is it? There are other benefits.
Huge other benefits. Eccentric movements are fantastic for strengthening tendons and ligaments.
Which is vital for joint health, preventing injuries.
Absolutely. They improve joint stability, which helps with balance, and they significantly boost proprioception.
Proprioception. That's your body's sense of where it is in space, right? Without looking.
Exactly. Knowing where your limbs are. Crucial for preventing falls, maintaining balance as you age. So eccentric work hits muscle, tendons, ligaments, stability, and spatial awareness. It's a powerhouse.
Wow. Okay, pillar 2. Time under tension and mind-muscle connection.
This one really challenges the lift heavier, go home mentality.
How?
The focus shifts away from the amount of weight on the bar or the number on the machine. Instead, it's about focusing intensely on the muscle you're working and making it contract as hard as possible for as long as possible. It's purely internal.
The quality of the contraction matters more than the external load.
That's the effort principle in action. Your muscles, they don't have brains. They don't know if you're holding 5 pounds or 50 pounds.
They just know how hard they're being asked to work.
Exactly. So you can potentially create the same growth stimulus by maximally contracting a muscle, really squeezing it, while holding just 5 pounds, or like the source says, even a soup can.
As someone lifting 50 pounds but maybe using momentum, poor form, no focus.
Precisely. It's the quality and intensity of the internal contraction, that mind-muscle connection, that drives the adaptation. Frank really got this.
And how did he apply it daily? He wasn't carrying soup cans around all day, presumably.
No. He applied it by simply tensing his muscles throughout daily activities, transforming normal movements.
Standing up from that chair again.
Yes. He wouldn't just stand up. He'd consciously engage his leg muscles as hard as possible, feeling the quads, the glutes, firing hard throughout the entire movement.
Okay.
Reaching for that book on the high shelf, he deliberately contracts his arm and shoulder muscles, keeping that tension during the reach and crucially during that slow, eccentric lowering phase we just talked about.
Combining the pillars.
Exactly. Walking upstairs, not just mechanically lifting his feet. Each step became a deliberate, controlled muscle contraction, focusing on feeling his leg muscles push him upwards.
Bringing mindful intention to every movement, turning daily life into a constant low-level workout.
You got it.
Pillar 3, isometric holds.
Right. These are contractions where you tense a muscle, but the joint doesn't move.
Like pushing against a wall.
Yeah.
Or just squeezing a muscle.
Both work. Pushing or pulling against something immovable, or simply activating and holding tension in a muscle without changing your body position. And the research cited is pretty stunning.
Yeah.
It suggests isometrics can boost strength by up to 50% in seniors when done correctly.
50%, that's huge. And they're safe.
Apparently incredibly safe, precisely because there's no joint movement. So the risk of falling, losing balance, or straining a joint is minimal. Plus, you can do them anywhere, anytime, for any muscle group.
This is where that micro-workout idea really comes alive, isn't it?
Totally. You're sitting watching TV, maybe during a commercial break. You just press your palms together in front of your chest as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Boom. Chest, shoulders, arms worked.
Without moving an inch.
Exactly. Or push your hands down hard onto your thighs, resisting with your legs to work the quads. Repeat that a few times throughout the day. Massive stimulus.
And you could do this for any muscle. Legs, core, back.
Pretty much. Press your feet hard into the floor while seated legs and glutes. Pull your belly button towards your spine and hold it tight core activation. Squeeze your shoulder blades together like you're cracking that nut upper back. Discreet, simple, effective.
And the power is in the accumulation.
That's what the material stresses. The accumulated effect of these micro workouts throughout the day is often more powerful than a single intense exercise session.
Why is that?
Because you're sending frequent signals, consistent reminders to the nervous system and muscles. Stay active, stay strong. It avoids the overload and potential exhaustion of one big weekly session, allowing for better recovery and adaptation, especially for older bodies. Gentle, persistent nudging versus occasional shouting.
Okay, pillar 4. Progressive overload through time, not necessarily weight.
Right, this is key. Traditional progressive overload means adding more weight, more plates, heavier dumbbells.
Which can be intimidating or risky for seniors.
Exactly. So this approach focuses on gradually increasing the duration of the muscle contractions, particularly the isometrics and the controlled eccentric phases.
So if Frank started holding an isometric palm press for 5 seconds...
Once that felt strong and manageable, he'd aim for 10 seconds, then maybe 15, then 20.
Gradually increasing the time under tension.
Yes, and this is crucial, always listening to his body, never pushing into pain or excessive strain, just consistently asking the muscles to work a little harder and a little longer as they get stronger. That continuous, gentle challenge keeps signaling the body. Adapt, build, get stronger. It's about incremental steps.
Makes sense. And the 5th principle you mentioned.
Frequency over intensity. This ties everything together.
Okay.
Instead of maybe 1 or 2 really hard, exhausting workouts a week that might leave you wiped out.
Yeah, the kind that makes you dread the next session.
Right. The emphasis here is on doing something to challenge your muscles every single day, shifting from I need to work out to I live strongly.
So consistency beats occasional intensity.
Especially for seniors, according to this source. It could be just a few minutes of isometric holds like we talked about, or adding a few extra slow, deliberate movements during your daily routine.
Like the slow chair stands or controlled lowering?
Exactly. The rationale is clear. Consistent, frequent stimulation is much more effective for seniors than sporadic, intense efforts that can lead to injury or exhaustion. It works with the body's recovery cycles, respects its wisdom. It's about building a sustainable habit that just becomes part of how you move through your day.
This really does feel like a completely different way of thinking about strength. Accessible, integrated, sustainable.
It's empowering.
So let's talk science. Why does this approach, eccentrics, isometrics, frequency, seem to work so well, particularly for older adults?
Well, one key reason highlighted is how it targets different muscle fiber types. As we age, our fast-twitch muscle fibers, those are the ones responsible for power, quick movements, real strength.
Like catching yourself if you stumble or lifting something heavy quickly?
Exactly. Those tend to deteriorate first, often due to inactivity. They're the sprint engines of our muscles, while the slow twitch are more like endurance engines.
Okay.
But here's the fascinating part. While they decline first with disuse, these fast twitch fibers are also the most responsive to the right kind of training stimulus.
They wake up quickly when you give them the right signal.
It seems so. They're almost eager to respond. And the combination of eccentric loading and isometric holds specifically targets these fast twitch fibers in a way that's both safe and incredibly effective for older adults.
Unlike maybe some traditional heavy lifting or explosive training that might carry more risk.
Potentially, yes. This method stimulates those power fibers without the high impact or demanding coordination sometimes needed elsewhere.
And there's something about the speed of results, too.
Yes, this is really motivating. The nervous system adaptations, basically your brain getting better at talking your muscles, happen much faster than the actual muscle growth.
So you feel stronger before you necessarily look stronger.
Exactly. You'll likely feel stronger and more capable within days or weeks. Chairs feel easier to get out of. Stairs seem less daunting. You feel more stable.
Long before you see bigger muscles in the mirror.
Right. And that early success, that tangible feeling of improvement, creates this powerful positive feedback loop.
It makes you want to keep going.
Absolutely. It reinforces the belief that it's working, that your body is capable, which powerfully motivates you to continue. That visceral experience is key.
Which brings us back to that culture of fear you mentioned, how the standard advice can sometimes backfire.
It's a frustrating point raised in the material. The medical establishment often being cautious.
Understandably so, to some extent.
Sure. But infrequently discouraging seniors from challenging their muscles, warning about risks, recommending only very light activity, it inadvertently creates this fear, this belief that older adults are inherently fragile and vulnerable.
When Frank's story suggests the opposite is possible, incredible strength and resilience.
If given the right stimulus and guidance, it's not about being reckless, it's about being smart and targeted. But that pervasive fear leads right back to the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Avoid challenge, lose muscle, confirm belief, avoid more challenge.
It's a cycle that keeps people trapped in a state of perceived weakness, when the reality, according to this, could be very different. It's a cycle that needs breaking.
And Frank's transformation wasn't just about muscles, was it? It was holistic.
Completely. The physical changes were stunning, sure. Within 2 weeks, noticing chairs were easy.
Okay, 2 weeks, that's fast.
Within a month, climbing stairs confidently without the railing, something he hadn't done in years. 3 months in, he's out helping neighbors with yard work, raking, lifting bags, things he probably thought were long gone.
Amazing.
And by 6 months, he wasn't just back to where he was before surgery. He was actually stronger than he'd been in 20 years.
20 years stronger. Without a gym, without fancy equipment.
Just by integrating these principles into his daily life, his life became his workout.
But you said it was more than physical.
Oh, absolutely. Crucially, he reported feeling more confident, more energetic, more optimistic about his future.
That's huge.
And feeling more connected to his own body's capabilities. It wasn't just about lifting things. It was about reclaiming a sense of agency, of vitality.
And that must have affected everything else.
Profoundly. Better relationships, better mental health, a renewed sense of purpose, autonomy. Feeling capable again changes how you interact with the world.
That sense of self-efficacy, believing you can handle things.
It's incredibly powerful. And it underscores, for you listening, that building strength later in life isn't just about, being able to open jars or climb stairs, though that's great.
It's about more than just function.
It's about reclaiming vitality, psychological well-being, that feeling of being capable and in control. That psychological transformation is just as important as the physical one.
Because when you start believing in your body's potential,
you naturally make choices that support that belief. You move more, you engage more, you challenge yourself gently. It creates this positive spiral of health and vitality. Feeling physically strong makes you feel mentally strong, and vice versa.
Okay, this is genuinely inspiring stuff. So if someone listening is feeling motivated by Frank, by these ideas, how do they start? What are the immediate actionable steps?
Right, let's bring it down to right now. No waiting. Here's a simple challenge from the material. Wherever you are, right now, stand up from your chair.
Okay.
But do it slowly, deliberately. Take at least 5 seconds to complete the movement from sitting to standing.
5 seconds. Feeling the muscles work.
Yes. Focus intently on engaging your leg muscles, quads, glutes through the entire range. Feel them contract. Then sit back down just as slowly. Control that descent. Make your muscles work against gravity. Don't just drop.
Resisting gravity on the way down. That's the eccentric part again?
Exactly. And the instruction is, repeat this simple cycle 5 times right now. Just 5 times. But prioritize quality over quantity.
Mind-muscle connection over speed. Control over momentum.
You got it. Those 5 mindful repetitions done correctly are apparently worth more than 50 repetitions done carelessly. This is step 1 in waking up those pathways.
5 slow stands and sits. Anyone can try that.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next for today?
For the rest of today, the challenge is to commit to adding deliberate muscle tension to at least 3 ordinary activities you're already doing.
Just 3 things. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Pick things from your normal routine.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, maybe while you're brushing your teeth, tense your abs. Pull your belly button towards your spine and hold it fairly tight for the whole 2 minutes.
Okay, core work while brushing.
Or waiting for the kettle to boil or the microwave to finish. Do some slow, controlled calf raises. Really focus on squeezing the calf muscle at the top. Lower down slowly. Or maybe while you're sitting watching the news tonight, consciously squeeze your shoulder blades together. Imagine holding that walnut between them, Hold for a few seconds, relax, repeat a few times.
Got it. Choose 3 everyday moments and inject that intentional tension.
Exactly. And whatever you choose, do it with full attention and maximum muscle engagement. That focus is key. That's how you start retraining the nervous system, activating those sleeping muscle fibers, building that daily practice.
Okay, so that's today. How do you build on that? How do you make it consistent?
Tomorrow, add one more activity to your list. Just one.
So 4 things tomorrow.
Right. The next day, add another. Keep adding one new intentional movement or isometric hold or slow eccentric action each day till you've gradually built up this comprehensive system of daily muscle challenges.
A system that fits into your existing routine, not on top of it.
Precisely. It's not about finding an extra hour. It's about enhancing the hours you already have.
And how do you stay motivated? How do you track if it's working?
The material strongly recommends keeping a simple journal. Nothing complicated, just jot down notes. How do I feel today? Did getting out of that chair feel a bit easier? Was climbing those stairs less breathless?
Noticing the small wins.
Exactly. What activities feel more comfortable? These small improvements will motivate you to continue. They help you recognize the profound changes happening inside your body, often before they're obvious to anyone else. That self-awareness fuels the process.
That makes sense. Recognizing progress keeps you going.
It really does.
And finally, embracing the journey. It's important to remember that this isn't instant, right? Frank's change took months.
Absolutely. His remarkable transformation didn't happen overnight. It required consistent daily action over several months. This isn't a 7-day miracle cure. It's a sustainable shift in how you live in your body.
But the journey starts small.
Always. For Frank, and for anyone listening, it begins with that single decision to believe in his body's potential, to trust that change is possible. And then taking that first small intentional step, like those 5 slow chair stands.
Your journey starts right now with that choice.
Exactly. The choice to reject that old myth of inevitable decline, to embrace the truth that your muscles, they're waiting to surprise you with their resilience, their adaptability, their capacity for growth.
No matter how many years have passed, no matter how weak you might feel today.
That's the message. Because inside every older body, there's still a strong person waiting to be rediscovered. And the key to finding that strength, it's in your hands right now, waiting for you to turn it.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, we've explored some really compelling evidence today. Evidence suggesting that getting significantly stronger, building muscle, even after 70, isn't just a pipe dream.
No, it seems highly achievable through simple, mindful, consistent movements woven into daily life. It really challenges decades of that old, outdated thinking.
Thinking that maybe has held a lot of people back unnecessarily.
Could well be. Frank's story is incredible, but it's supported by the science behind these pillars: eccentric loading, isometrics, time under tension, frequency, progressive overload through time.
It all points to the idea that the secret isn't locked away somewhere. It's accessible.
It's truly in your hands, in your everyday life. No special equipment needed, no expensive memberships required. It's about empowering yourself from the inside out.
Okay, so here's that final provocative thought we like to leave you with. Something to chew on until our next deep dive.
Right.
If so much of what we thought was natural aging in our muscles turns out to be more like learned helplessness, something that can be reversed, retrained, strengthened, then what other aspects of our well-being, physical, maybe cognitive, maybe even emotional, might also be just waiting to surprise us with their own capacity for growth, for regeneration.
If only they get the right stimulus, the right signal, a renewed belief in their potential.
Exactly. What else inside us is waiting to be rediscovered, just needing that spark?
That is definitely something to mull over. The implications could go far beyond just muscles.
Indeed. Think about that one. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.